Hello and welcome to The Explainer. Today, we are going to crack a mystery that honestly affects every single one of us. How are prices decided? It's not random. It's actually a story of two really powerful forces that are constantly pushing and pulling on each other in our world. So let's get started and solve this puzzle.
I mean, seriously, right? It feels like a total puzzle. One minute you're making guacamole on the cheap, and the next, avocados cost a fortune. Well, the answer to this puzzle lies in the story of two key players, buyers and sellers, and their actions are explained by these two fundamental ideas, supply and demand. Think of this as a kind of detective story, and those are our two biggest clues.
Every time we buy or sell something, we are part of what economists call a market. And that's really just a fancy word for a group of buyers and sellers of a particular thing. So to solve this whole price puzzle, we first have to understand the story from each side.
Okay, let's start with us, the buyers, the consumers. Our side of the story can pretty much be summed up in one word, demand. This is all about what we're willing and able to buy.
So this is the heart of the buyer's story, and it's something we all kind of know instinctively, right? It's what's called an inverse relationship. When something gets really expensive, we tend to buy less of it. When it goes on sale, we stock up. It's as simple as that. And this core principle is called the law of demand.
And we can actually put some hard numbers on that idea. This table you're seeing here, this is a demand schedule. Just look at it. If an ice cream cone is totally free, people want 12 of them. But if that price jumps to $2, they'll only buy 4. You can see it right there, a really clear, predictable pattern. Now, if we take those points from the table and plot them on a graph, we get this, the demand curve. See that? See how it slopes down from left to right? That's the law of demand, right there in visual form. As the price, which is on the vertical line, goes up, the quantity people want, on the horizontal line, goes down.
Okay, good question. Because in the real world, it's not always that simple, is it? Price is a huge deal, for sure, but it's not the only thing that matters. What happens if, say, you get a big raise at work? Or what if a new study comes out that says ice cream is actually great for you? So here's the really crucial point to get. When only the price changes, we're just moving from one spot to another along the same curve. So for instance, if a new tax makes cigarettes more expensive, people don't suddenly stop wanting them altogether, they just buy fewer. They move up along that same curve to a point with a lower quantity. We call this a change in the quantity demanded.
But if something else changes, like our income goes up or our tastes change, the entire curve moves. So let's imagine there's a huge heat wave. Well, now people want more ice cream at every single price point. The whole demand curve actually shifts over to the right. That is a change in demand itself. Okay, let's switch gears and look at the other side of this story. All right, let's switch hats for a minute. Imagine we're the ones running the business. We're on the seller's side now, and our world is all about supply. This is how much of a product we're willing and able to sell. And the law for sellers is basically the mirror image of the law for buyers. It's a direct relationship. Think about it. If you can sell your ice cream cones for a much higher price, you're going to be a lot more motivated to make and sell more of them, right? But if prices are low, not so much. Might not even be worth firing up the machines. And just like we did with demand, we can map this out. This supply schedule shows that at a really low price, like 50 cents, sellers aren't offering any cones. But at $3 a pop, yeah, they're ready to supply 5 cones. The incentive is pretty obvious. And when we put that schedule on a graph, we get the supply curve. Now notice how this one slopes upward. It's the exact opposite of the demand curve. Higher prices mean a higher quantity supplied. So now we have both sides of the story. So what have we got? We've got buyers who want low prices and sellers who want high prices. It seems like they're in total opposition. But this is where the magic happens. Their two stories are just about to collide. This point where they meet is called equilibrium. You can think of it as the market's sweet spot. It's that one single price where the amount of stuff sellers want to sell is exactly the same as the amount of stuff buyers want to buy. And here it is. This is the solution to our entire price puzzle. When you lay the supply curve over the demand curve, look, they cross at exactly one point. For our ice cream market, that happens at a price of $2, where exactly 7 cones are bought and sold. This is the market price. No other price works perfectly for both sides. So what happens if the price isn't at that sweet spot? Well, if the price is too high, say $2.50, sellers are going to have a surplus of unsold ice cream just melting away, and they'll have to lower the price. If the price is too low, say $1.50, you're going to have a shortage with lines out the door, and sellers will quickly realize, hey, we can charge more for this. The market naturally, almost like gravity, pushes itself back to that $2 equilibrium. But, of course, the real world doesn't just stand still. Things are always changing. So what happens when a heat wave hits, or a new technology is invented, or a natural disaster messes things up for buyers or sellers? Well, this model is an incredibly powerful tool for predicting what happens next. And there's a really simple 3-step process you can use to figure out any change. First, you just have to decide which side of the story is affected. Is this a supply thing or a demand thing? Second, decide which way the curve is going to move, left for a decrease, right for an increase. And third, you just look and see where the new intersection point lands. Okay, let's try it out with our first example. A heat wave strikes. Step 1, this affects buyers' desire for ice cream, so that's a demand issue. Step 2, they want more ice cream, so the demand curve shifts to the right. Step 3, we look at the new crossing point, and we see it results in a higher price and more ice cream being sold. The model predicted it perfectly. Now for a different one. An earthquake hits and destroys a bunch of ice cream factories. Step 1, this affects the seller's ability to produce, so it's a supply issue. Step 2, there's less ice cream to go around, so the supply curve shifts to the left. And Step 3, the new equilibrium shows a higher price, but a lower quantity sold. It makes total sense, right? The ice cream that's left becomes more valuable. And this table right here, this is basically the ultimate cheat sheet. It puts the whole thing together. It shows you what happens to the price, P, and the quantity, Q, for every possible combination of events. So for instance, look at that middle box. If demand goes up and supply goes up, the quantity sold will definitely increase. But the effect on the price is listed as ambiguous. That's because it depends on how much each curve shifts. This is your complete guide to predicting how things ripple through a market. So the next time you see the price of gas go up, or you wonder why that new phone is so expensive when it first comes out, you have the tools to solve the puzzle. You can actually see these invisible forces of supply and demand at work all around you. So what price puzzles are you going to solve now?